Sri Lanka, where in the face of spiraling financial upheaval, finally a finance minister has been appointed. It's the new Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe who's taken oath as the new finance minister. And within 6 weeks, Wickremesinghe will be presenting an interim budget. Since the country is in the throes of an unprecedented economic crisis, the infrastructure projects are likely to be slashed in the upcoming budget. The administration is also reviewing possible expenditure cuts across the government sector. The funds will be rerouted into a 2-year relief program for the crisis-hit nation. Wickremesinghe has also warned that annual inflation could rocket past 40% in the coming months. The rise could put Sri Lankan households under further pressure as well. According to government data, inflation rose to a record 33.8% year-on-year in April. Now the situation here is so bad that the government has no revenue in Sri Lankan currency. And another 1 trillion Sri Lankan rupees need to be printed.
No, we know it's going to be difficult. That's why we are looking at relief, at least a 2-year relief program. There will be interim budget. We cut off all the development work and put more money in. One is to ensure that we can pay the higher interest rates, and secondly to ensure that there is more money for the affected people. But that alone won't do. So we will have to look at some help from our friends abroad. Ensure there is sufficient food. We will require more rice. There is going to be a shortage of flour globally. So these are some of the issues that we will face here. Inflation can go well into the 40s. Remember, one is the price adjustments we are making. Secondly is the fact that we printed money. We have no rupee revenue, and now we have to print another trillion rupees. So you can see how inflation is will have an impact here.
Now, just yesterday, the government announced a sharp increase in petrol and diesel prices. Fuel prices reached to a record high on Tuesday, causing further pain to the country's 22 million people. Motorists lined up for hours in queues outside the fuel stations. Shortage of foreign currency in the cash-strapped nation. It has severely curtailed import of essential, including fuel and medicines. As the government begins to tackle the crisis, negotiations are also underway with the International Monetary Fund for a loan package. The government is hopeful of a sustainable loan package from IMF. The government is also worried about food shortage from August onwards. Productivity has been slashed after imports of chemical fertilizers were halted last year. To shore up supplies of staples, Wickremesinghe will likely meet China's ambassador to Sri Lanka next week. He will be seeking fertilizer and medicines from Beijing. Sri Lanka is also banking on foreign aid from allies and multilateral agencies. Meanwhile, World Bank has rejected reports claiming support for Sri Lanka in the form of new loan commitments. The World Bank said that it has no plans to offer new financing to Sri Lanka until an adequate macroeconomic policy framework is in place. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.